So welcome back to another Matchday vlog. As always, I'm joined by Dad to get his thoughts ahead of this one. Firstly, Dad, how are you doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you very much. Yep, looking forward to today.
Fantastic. Oh, that's something you can't often say about Spurs. No, not at all. But the sun is shining, so it should be
exactly
a good one. So, yeah, how are you feeling about the game?
It's obviously been very disappointing. The season's been rubbish, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Like a lot of fans, really disappointed with the showing at Chelsea, especially first half. Second half, thought we were a bit better. So it's kind of put a bit of a downer on things, but we never win at that place anyway. So we always bottle it, even when we're a good team, and we're not a good team at the moment at all. So I think the team's rubbish, but the sun's out, so I'm looking forward to the day.
Yeah, 100%. It's today about resting players and not taking those, I think, unnecessary risks ahead of what is a massive game Thursday.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I know we're rubbish, but if we haven't got enough with a second team or half a first team to beat Southampton, then we should be ashamed of ourselves. Yeah. So to me, it's all about Thursday. The league's gone, it's long gone. I know fans are getting cross and that about how we're performing in the league, but it really doesn't matter. The league's shot to bits. As long as we don't get relegated, and the three teams at the bottom are so bad that we're not going to get relegated, even as bad as we are. So it's all about Thursday. Frankfurt are a really decent team. That's going to be really hard. And if we don't go there with a 2 or 3 goal lead, we ain't coming away with nothing. So to me, it's all about Thursday night. If I'm Ange right now, I'm resting most of those quality players, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about Ange, though, I've got to ask you about, kind of gestures that we saw at Stamford Bridge, because he's, come under a lot of criticism, because I didn't think he had that many fans still, 100% long-term behind him, but I think he lost all those fans that were still behind him following some of his comments post-match and what some people thought was a car crash interview. What did you kind of make it, or where do you stand today on his future?
Yeah, I didn't see the interview, but I did see the, holding his cup in his ear and that to the fans. But the fans were just singing to him, "You don't know what you're doing," and booing him for his substitutions. And his substitution went on and scored. I know it was disallowed, but I can understand his frustration. I haven't got really a problem with that. I have got, and I have to say this with some context, right? Anyone who goes away, follows Spurs home and away, especially the away games, up and down the season, all up and down the country all season long, has my respect, because that's hardcore. It's proper fans, right? And if they are proper hardcore fans that are giving him grief or giving the team grief, then fair play. I can't argue with that. But there was a few fans at the end of that game. I mean, we didn't go; we saw it on telly. That were giving the players loads of grief, swearing and cursing at the players, calling them all sorts of things. To me, that's out of order. I don't believe that's a hardcore home and away fan. I think there's someone who's gone on a jolly for the day because it's Chelsea, and they're giving those players loads of stick when whatever you think of the performance, they don't deserve that, in my opinion. So I think in the context of all of that, it's all got a bit nasty. And I didn't see the interview, but I don't particularly think that's the problem with Ange. I think the problem with Ange is that we're just not very good under him. Now, I know a lot of that is on the ownership, because we haven't got decent players, or, that's a long old debate in it. But we spend money, but on the wrong players. We spent fortunes on players that are just not good enough. No disrespect, but Johnson, Solanke, Porro, all big money signings. There's others as well, and Richarlison, and none of them. I mean, they're all, I'm sure, nice people, but they're just not good enough. So we spend the money on the wrong players because we don't pay the wages, and that isn't on Ange. That's on Enoch, the ownership, right? But having said all of that, Ange has been blaming injuries, and quite rightly.
Yeah, 16th at this moment in time.
So now we're 16th, and we've got all of our players, pretty much all of our players back. So what's the excuse now?
Exactly.
If we turn up and score 5 against Southampton, then you can say, okay, maybe there's a little bit of a glimmer of hope towards the end of the season that we get some form back. But at the moment, we're all over the place.
Yeah, 100%. I think you make some really good points. And obviously, we saw, kind of abusive scenes, a lot of unnecessary scenes at Stamford Bridge. That's obviously wrong. But I do think that fans have a right generally to be frustrated. 16th in the league, the money we pay, for example, for season tickets, and when you have Ange saying that always win him a second season, and then to be 16th, I get fans' frustration, and for me, I find it a little bit embarrassing considering where we are with cupping to the ears, etc. But it's hard.
Just a final thought on that, though. I take your point, but to me, this is just my personal line. There's never an excuse for abusing players.
No.
Unless they abuse you first. So, if they throw the shirt down, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But they haven't done that. They've all tried their best. Whether that's good enough is another thing. I don't mind giving booing the
it's
team
not,
at the
not
end
a
of the
lack of
game.
effort, is it?
You don't ever go to individual players, and I don't like that online. I don't agree with it online. I don't agree with it face to face. It's just not on. That's not supporting the players. We're still in the quarter final of the Europa League. If we go on, I mean, I don't think we are, but if we go on and win that, those fans are going to look like idiots, aren't they? Because nobody's won a decent trophy for donkey's years at Tottenham. And the only last couple we have won have been the League Cup, which don't get me wrong, I'd take that next season. But we haven't won a proper tournament for donkey's years. So
Still could be memorable.
We could still win it. You can't collapse on the team now. You've got to get behind them. This is when they need our support.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that today there'll be no support, no singing, no getting behind the team. It'll be like a library, and all you'll hear is the away fans. And that'll affect the players. This is when times are tough. The fans will get behind the team. Sorry, whatever, no matter how rubbish.
No, I do agree with you on that. I can understand their frustration, but still support is massive. Thursday's huge. We have an opportunity as well to relegate Southampton today, 22 points adrift coming into this one in April. It's quite a scary stat. But lastly, on Ange, before we get to score prediction, can you understand can you entertain a supposed debate of, do you get rid of him before Frankfurt and bring someone like Ryan Mason in, or for you it's just an absolute no, and you do it maybe if we go out the Europa League or the end of the season, but certainly not before?
Yeah, I think the second point is absolutely spot on. So absolute madness to get rid of him before the Europa is done. If we get knocked out of that, which we may well do over the next couple of weeks, then I think he's got to go, because he's just evidently out of his depth in the Premier League. But if we're still in Europa, you've got to give the man the chance to finish the season with the trophy. I really didn't like Mourinho being in charge of Spurs. I was anti-Mourinho. I wanted him out. I make no bones about it. I thought we'd lost the dressing room. I definitely thought, in my mind at the time, when we sacked him before that League Cup final, it was the right decision. In hindsight, it probably wasn't the right decision. I was wrong, because he should have had the chance to finish off what he started. He might not have won. I don't think he would have won the League Cup, but he should have had a chance.
Proven winner,
yeah. So the same. Okay, it is different. I would still keep Postecoglou in charge until we get knocked out of Europa, 100%. After that, it's gone.
Let's hope that Ange's not another Spurs manager that wins everywhere else, but Spurs have quite a few of them. So
what's the common theme?
Well, it's higher up, isn't it? I mean, need a complete overhaul if you ask me. New owners, new board, new manager.
It's the ownership. That's the
new recruitment strategy. I think get rid of Munn and Lange. I think everything needs to change, but I don't think we'll see that. That's why I think it's important to get behind the protest.
Even the players that we bought recently have not been the same sort of quality, nice, cheeky buyers that we've got recently. When we had Paratici working with us, it's gone downhill.
Well, it looks like his move to Milan has fallen apart, so I'm assuming you'd like to see him back at the club. I don't think it will happen. But
I'd have him back in a heartbeat, yeah. Got some decent signings under it.
Yeah, 100%. But it's just, you hear as well, you've got the financial figures released for the 23-24 season, and you hear Levy's statement about it. It's basically saying, isn't he, we're not going to spend any more. Fans are calling to spend more, and this is just, it gave him, almost like more evidence as to why spending more, isn't a good thing.
Doesn't work, yeah. And I think, I'm the last one to defend ENIC, because as a sort of a football ownership, I think they're dreadful, but as a business ownership, they're very good.
Yeah.
So you can't argue with the fact that operating expenses for the club have gone up. New government, we've got employer tax, employer national insurance rises, minimum wage has gone up, blah, 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 but loads of other things are changing.
Yeah.
So every business is struggling with that, myself included. So I get the fact that expenses have gone up. He hasn't put ticket prices up. So whatever you say, he hasn't done that.
Yeah.
And we haven't had so many games on TV and as many games because which haven't been as good. Actually the figures are from last season where we weren't in Europe. So all of those things together, the next couple of years, we're not going to be making as much profit, and that matters when you run the club like a business like they do. So he's not going to be spending any more money anytime soon, that's for sure.
But what fans will say is, wasn't this new stadium meant to be a game changer? And you've got him saying we're basically never going to compete in terms of spending with the kind of big 2 or 3 like City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Yeah, that is the thing that is a bit confusing for me. It's like, even though we haven't had as many games on TV because we weren't in Europe last season, all of that, we're still doing loads of things at that stadium, loads of concerts and other things. Where's the money for that?
Yeah.
And if that's not, adding to the profit, I don't understand that bit.
It's the recruitment policy, isn't it? It's just really, I think, unambitious. We don't, give ourselves that cutting edge, and you're never going to, for me, win something when you just go young all the time. It's good to bring in young players, but we've just, completely forgotten about bringing in experienced top players. And when you don't buy or compete for world-class players, you can't be a world-class club. That's why I look at it. You can be good. I think we're under Pochettino, but you can't get over the line for me unless you have proven winners, and we don't have many. And the ones that we do have are going to probably leave in the likes of Romero in the summer.
I agree.
We can't retain our best assets.
Yeah, he's probably the only real proven winner out of all of them, isn't he? Romero, and he wants to
look at Kane. How loyal was Kane? But in the end, he left, which is probably put Spurs bias aside, the right decision. We weren't ambitious enough to keep him there. He didn't do enough. He was really patient. It's just frustrating.
It's all about the wages, Harry. It's all about. It's not about. We won't pay 40, 50, 60
Why not?
million for a player.
Rather do that than waste a lot of money like we have. I mean, I love Richarlison. You mentioned it. That means what, 50, 60
That's
million?
Good value for it.
We're not going to get half that back.
No, we just
never fit.
Because we don't pay the wages. We end up with a slanky Richarlison rather than like a top striker. We end up with. I mean, I like Johnson, but we end up with a Johnson for 60 odd million rather than a high quality top drawer right winger.
I love Johnson. He's been disappointing recently.
Yeah, and we don't pay the wages. That's the challenge for me.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Back to Southampton. We could talk Tottenham all day. What would your score prediction be? Surely we can't lose this one.
I'm going for 3-0 Tottenham.
Oh, confidence. Clean sheet as well.
Absolutely.
It's been a while, but that'd be nice. I think 7 matches has it been? I think clean sheet for Spurs.
Yeah, I think we've got points to bring.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Southampton, I think it's been like 11 or 12 since they got a clean sheet. Don't score a lot of goals either. I think we win, but I think we made hard work of it. I'll probably go 3-1 Spurs. I think our goals do come quite late. I think Southampton take the lead. I think surely we go over the line in the end.
I think there'll be a riot if Southampton took the lead.
Yeah, I think there will be if there's a draw.
Yeah.
Come on, you Spurs for today, though.
Come on, Spurs.